Good evening, my friends. This is VJ Franz K. Here we have ELECTRIBEs. What's the difference? Round 2. ELECTRIBE ESX SD and ELECTRIBE EMX. 1. These two machines are obviously a different color. This one's blue and this one is red, so it makes it easy to visually tell them apart. But what is the actual difference to these machines, which are both capable of making complete tracks? Here's the answer. ELECTRIBE ESX stands for ELECTRIBE Sampler X. So you can put samples in the memory card, you can sample from the audio in. Samples. Whereas ELECTRIBE EMX stands for ELECTRIBE Music Production Station or Music Studio or something. The M stands for music. It is a synthesizer, and it has samples in ROM, read-only memory. So you have drum samples, you have PCM instrument samples, and you have virtual analog synthesis. So you can do your 303 and your MS-20 and your Moog type of sounds here. Different synthesis types. So that is the ELECTRIBE EMX. And which unit you want really depends on how important is it to you to load new unique samples into the machine. Because you can do that with the ELECTRIBE ESX, and you can't load more samples into the EMX, even though it does have a nice set of samples that covers drums, instruments, and other common things. So really, I don't feel very limited with either one of these. You know, I can produce tracks and performances that I like using both of them, and you can just get creative, and you can synthesize all kinds of sounds. You can make notes, you can make noise, you can make your own drums out of noises. It's very flexible machines here, so I really like them. And once again, I would say to Korg, please make us ELECTRIBE 3 and make it in the style of the ELECTRIBE EMX and ESX. Give us that sort of continuation of this style of control panel, which has a set of parts here for the drums, and then a set of parts for the keyboards, and then these have stretch loops like you might find in Ableton Live or other things. You know, it automatically slices the loops for you, as you may do in hip-hop or other things. So it's good for chopping. Whereas here you can't import new samples and breaks, but you have all of these synth parts here that you can use, synthesize and add your filters and the drive and stuff like that. Which one of these machines is my favorite? It is hard to choose. They're both great, but I like the ELECTRIBE ESX more. It just has more features that I like to use, and I'll show you which ones those are. The reverse button. The reverse button lets you play samples in reverse. So we have, here's my kick drum. Now I've reversed the kick drum, and I can tap it to go forward and back, and that's interesting to be able to do that anytime you want. Not enough machines have the reverse button included, but it's instantly a good way to chop up beats. And then another thing I will mention is that The ESX has the filter cutoff and resonance on all the parts. Each part has its own filters. So that is amazing amount of filters. You can filter all of your different samples. So even the kick drum here, I can put a filter on. And that lets you shape every sound just a little bit more. Because even if you don't want to filter off something, you can use the bandpass filter plus and bring out some extra EQ or something in that sound the way you like it. You can, anyway, but on the EMX, this filter does not work on the drums. It only works on the synthesizer parts. So that is a limitation. And I don't know. Overall, I just like the ESX better. I've had more fun playing it and stuff like that, but they're both great. I've used them both a lot, and some of my favorite songs were written on each one of these. So I would never want to sell either one of them, and I'm going to get my other ELECTRIBE ESX repaired so I can have two of them. It's something that you want to have two of in case you need a backup, or you just want to do a DJ set where you're crossfading between two of these as if you have two turntables. That is a great way to work if you have one or more drum machines. 3, 4. Regular people might say that is excessive, but if you really like drum machines, 4 might be just perfect. It depends, you know, how much do you want to travel. But I just want to mention one more thing about my wish for an ELECTRIBE ESX, and please bring the input of myself and other people who have played these machines for basically 20 years and more. Is that possible? I guess it is possible, considering the year that they were created and the year it is now. But before this I was playing the other ELECTRIBEs, but of all the Korgs that are ever made, this is my favorite one. It's like all of their other great synthesizers and everything. There's so many good machines, drum machines and synthesizers, but I really like playing this. What can I say? I come back to it. If I don't use it for a year or something, and then I play it again, I remember what I liked about it, even if some of these new machines have more modern sound quality or something. So give us a new ELECTRIBE 3 with modern sound quality, just 24-bit audio and all of that stuff. So we are ready to produce the tracks for the 2020s. Let's move on to the 2030s and all of this stuff. And these things are built to last. They've served me well when other gear, solid metal casing, even though that's kind of expensive. It's kind of heavy to carry around. I do like batteries, but yeah, sturdy construction here. The tubes are cool that you can dial in the tube sound, but it makes it use more power. It makes it not able to be battery powered. So I would say leave the tubes out in the ELECTRIBE 3. Leave the tubes out. Let us have an external tube thing if we want to have it, but many people don't put it to that much use. So it's like, for it to be consuming that extra power and portability, it's not necessarily good. But the important thing I want to say about ELECTRIBE 3 is, here we have a sampler, here we have a synthesizer. In the previous generation of ELECTRIBEs, there were 4 different ELECTRIBEs, and you know, Volcas, they're also many different ones, but I say, give us one powerful ELECTRIBE 3. Don't separate it into separate units of synthesizer and sampler. With today's digital technology, you can do anything. We know that you can, just like a laptop can have VSTs that do any kind of sound, a digital synthesizer can do, theoretically, any type of sampling or synthesis. So give us one unit that has a lot of power. An example of that would be the MPC or the Ableton Push. One powerful device, which is like a portable music studio that you can use and enjoy to make your entire track. And that is great. Anyway, I'm going to take this for its first performance tonight. I copied my patterns from this one, or from the other ELECTRIBE ESX. I copied it to here. It's entirely possible. What you do is you copy it, the file from the smart media card, you put it on your computer, then you put it on the card, on the SD card, you take that file, move it across, and copy it to the other kind of media. And that works. I was so glad that I was able to continue my years and years of patterns that I've made on this onto the new machine, and I will keep refining them. Because they have these cards here, use that to back up your patterns fairly often, even though these seem to be reliable, but you could always save over and change your patterns in some way that you didn't want. So keep lots of backups and you have lots of options. It's like fine to never need that backup, but when you do, it'll be there. So for music history of the future, make sure you do that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my channel. VJ Franz K, Creative Tech, because we're not just about music and video now, we're about all kinds of creative technologies, basically letting you live your dreams and inspirations. And I can help you select the right synthesizer gear or virtual reality gear or art supplies or other things. That is my skill. I'm very good at picking out what you want to use and understanding how the different devices could help you on your creative journey instead of hinder you. You don't want something holding you back from your desired workflow. So find a thing that will not get in your way because you know how you like to work. It won't stand in your way. Like me, I do not like menu diving. They call it menu diving, where you have to flip through a bunch of menus to get to functions. All of the knobs on these ELECTRIBEs make it easy. All of the knobs on these ELECTRIBEs make it easy to make your beats, do your performance without diving through menus. It's amazing how many spontaneous jams I have played with these things. And I was playing with guitarists, I was playing with singers, rappers, spoken word people, any kind of other creative performer. If you have a very flexible synthesizer and you get very good at it, you could actually do a jam with them in a way that they will be surprised about. And that is another part of my life purpose, is sort of going around with these drum machines and synthesizers and bringing them to places where you wouldn't normally see them. Maybe open people's eyes and minds to things like that. So anyway, please subscribe to VJ Franz K. Please leave your comments and questions below in the comments, and obviously try to read the manual, which you can often find online these days. There's a PDF manual or something that will explain the answer to obvious questions, but less obvious or unusual questions. we can help you, you know. Consider becoming a patron for me here on YouTube or on Patreon. That'll help, and I will set up your entire studio if you need it, in terms of telling you what gear that you want to have and how to set it up. I can do that. I can't wait to perform with this tonight. It has been so nice talking to you guys and talking about one of my favorite subjects, drum machines, of course. Anyway, good night.